Vietnam never happened. Vietnam never happened amusement park is now pulled over our eyes with fun for the entire family. Thrill to Buddhist priests who set themselves on fire at noon. Be a part of the action at Kent State and show those demonstrators who's boss in our revolving Dirty Harry go-round. Then it's on to the defense industry kickback bumper cars. Go ahead, blow them up. We'll just replace them at 20 times the price. Then unwind with your favorite hard drugs in our fabulous indoor shooting gallery. Who's that knocking outside? Is it the cops or is it Memorex? Play miniature golf with live grenades. Our Peace with Honor roller coaster will destroy you in order to save you. The kids, they'll love our petting zoo, where you can feed overpriced McDonald Land cookies to our pen full of children deformed by Agent Orange. Then, if you're really brave, how about the haunted house of Frank Nugenhand in the sky of Siam, where you'll feel what it's like as you're sealed in a warm body bag while CIA operatives slit your stomach open to stuff you full of heroin baggies to send home to mother. Is that getting a bit much? Just go quietly where we want you, to our video arcade. When you come out 3 days later, pick a prize from the pet shop, a mixed blood orphan left behind by some fun-loving Yankee soldier. Consolation prize, a year's supply of blank draft notices. Just fill in the names of your friends and your enemies and give them their surprise of their life by mail. They'll go quietly. You'll see. Vietnam never happened. What Reagan didn't know. Iran. Iran Gate. Contragate. North Scam. Iranamok. Here we go again with the best present we've received in a long, long time. Your friend and mine, Grandpa Caligula, the Gipper. Boy, is he shitting Teflon bricks now. The great communicator now calls reporters sons of bitches. Caught with his greedy, scaly hands in the genocide cookie jar. Hiding arms deals from his own army. Relying on a compulsive liar, a 5-star colonel, to make secret foreign policy in his cubicle in the White House basement. The moral equivalent of our founding fathers, the Contras, got their cash to go around killing doctors, teachers, women, children from mafia-style Swiss bank accounts and less widely reported cocaine deals. Can you imagine the look on poor Nancy's face if they proved that Ronnie's so-called freedom fighters were the ones bringing in those drugs for our children? This is the greatest soap opera going. Not even Get Smart has so many hilarious surprises. Speaking of Get Smart, have you noticed how much Maxwell Smart looks like Robert McFarlane? And isn't George Schultz a little too perfect in his role as the chief? Moaning at his desk, one disaster after another created by his finest secret agents. Oh, Mac, now look what you've done. You can't die from ODing on Valium. That darn fool kid. Reagan Daffy, the flaky fanatic, the only wheeler-dealer in the whole Mideastern poker game who is so bad, he makes Jimmy Carter look like he knew what he was doing. We will never give in to terrorists. We will never pay ransom for hostages. Oh no, not us. Keep in mind, he could have had all those hostages back for a cool $1 million. But what does he do? He gives the Ayatollah of all people $30 million, and in exchange, he doesn't get the hostages back. Not all of them. What a genius! What a deal! What a guy! Don't you wish you had him on your side, doing his best on your behalf? Don't you wish you had him to depend on next time you get caught in a small emergency like being kidnapped? And what does he do when his B-movie game is up? He freaks out and stonewalls, just like Nixon. No surprise, really, when you look around and see how many seasoned Watergate criminals have been up to their old tricks since Reagan gave them their new jobs in the White House and in his cabinet. Just like Nixon, he blames it all on the press. Somehow it's the fault of the media that his pet terrorists got caught. Sure, he says mistakes were made, but he has yet to say he was sorry. He says, I know my people did nothing wrong, even though I didn't know what they'd been up to. It was all done behind my back. It was all done behind my ever so willing asshole. Honest, I didn't know. Would I lie to you? Maybe. Maybe he really didn't know. It wouldn't be the first time he didn't know the obvious, now would it? Who says the great communicator ever once bothered to proofread his own script? He almost so much as admits he doesn't care. For a president of the United States, it's amazing all the things over the years he didn't know. It's almost as if he grew up watching television. For example, how many of you know that there is a token black person in Reagan's cabinet? HUD Secretary Samuel Pierce. He's been there ever since the beginning, but you just never hear about him, do you? Apparently, Reagan didn't know about him either when he ran into him 6 months after Pierce started on the job at a meeting of big city mayors and said, "How are you, Mr. Mayor? I'm glad to meet you. How are things in your city?" When he was visiting Brazil, he didn't know what country he was in and called for a toast to the people of Bolivia. He then quickly covered for himself by saying, oh, Bolivia was the next stop on his Latin American trip, but he was actually going to Colombia and wasn't scheduled to visit Bolivia at all. When he was in Oklahoma campaigning for the re-election of Senator Don Nichols, he urged everyone out there to be sure and go vote for Don Rickles. What he didn't know about South Africa, his definition of apartheid live on national radio was that South Africans have eliminated the segregation we once had in our own country. Last time he unveiled his budget, he said we will be spending more money than ever before to combat the use of drugs. What he didn't know was his own budget called for less. What he didn't know about the Jews in Nazi Germany when he said, after visiting Bitburg and the cemetery with all them stormtrooper skeletons down below, he said that Nazi soldiers were victims just as surely as the victims in the concentration camps. Some people got a little bit unamused. So he said, oh yes, I know all the bad things that happened in that war. I was in uniform for 4 years myself. What he didn't know was World War II took place in Europe and in the South Pacific, not in the first motion picture unit of the Army Air Corps at Hal Roach Studios in Hollywood. He said missiles launched from submarines can be recalled, an event that is a false alarm for nuclear war. What he didn't know is they can't be recalled. When asked asked if he'd be visiting the Vietnam War Memorial, he said, "I can't tell until somebody tells me. I never know where I'm going." So, the question remains, is our buddy Ronald McReagan really in the dark? Really just an absent-minded bozo along for the ride? Or does his real evil lie elsewhere? Is this talking Gila monster with a pompadour so conniving that he knows his real role and purpose as an actor and plays it anyway? Just smile. Read the cue cards, Ronnie. Now talk assuredly and soothe the people. It's your job to soften the blow of corporate martial law. Get them to like the taste of high-tech feudalism that the powers behind the scenes who pull your strings have in mind. People unemployed and starving, just tell them how we whooped them in Grenada. Tell them the one about the welfare mother who spent her food stamps on vodka. When someone cries atrocities, just smile and say, "I'm a Contra too." And somehow, that'll make the atrocities okay. Just wait and see. They'll believe it. Because corporate martial law must come so quietly in this country that people won't even smell it. Watergate was sloppy. A Marcos-style coming to visit and deciding to stay wouldn't quite work here. This clampdown must be eased in slowly over 30 or 40 years, so hardly anyone will notice what's going on as our rights are being systematically whittled away. At least not lift an eyebrow as long as the price is right. And the last 5 or 10 years of the onset of corporate martial law won't be quite so difficult with the right actor in the right place playing the right role for the fans. The chipper grandfather we all kind of wish we had. Grandpa Caligula. See him smile and wave as he trots off with Nancy for another holiday at the ranch. Now, if he really didn't know about all his elves playing Rambo that are still getting away with murder, check this out. There's a book out now called Dark Victory, Reagan, MCA, and the Mob, published by Viking Press. Its author is Don Moldia. Where it is written, in the 1950s, MCA made this little deal with the Screen Actors Guild, that's the Actors Union, an exclusive, what they called a blanket waiver that would make MCA billions of dollars. It was rigged so only MCA could act as agent to its own stars. MCA alone was somehow exempt from a coming actors' strike. And at that time, the president of the Screen Actors Guild was guess who? Ronald Reagan. He made the deal. His reward from MCA as his career began to peter out was to be named host of the long-running GE television theater. Then later on, MCA gave him 25% of the whole program, and overnight he was on his way to being a multi-millionaire. Then, in 1962, a grand jury called in Ronald McReagan, wanted to have a few words with Ronald McReagan, asked him if these deals he made, weren't they a little corrupt? And Reagan, professional actor, suddenly acted confused and replied almost as if on cue, clear back in '62, that he, the president of the Screen Actors Guild, didn't know what was going on. Sound familiar? but here we are brought up by television and our teachers to be spectators, so every damn time I still draw a blank. But lately, I've been writing them down. After all, when you think about it, it's a great way to meet people when you're new in town. Just like carrying extra matches or cigarettes for people to bum. You're new in town, go to a party, hey, got a pen I can borrow? Oh, carry 20. Me, I carry band names. People need them, too. I mean, how many times have you heard the same old cliche band names over and over and over again? Pick a formula, any formula. The Lone Cowboys, Leather Wolf, Night Ranger, Gypsy Blue, Big River, Rat. I mean, the first step to a really good band name is to start with a good concept. So picture this one for heavy metal. Granted, it's the most conservative of all loud rock music. No gym teacher could get as many people to dress alike. But there's still room for a good concept. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rock? Would you please welcome live from Global Corporate Headquarters, this week's heavy metal sensation, Mondale! Picture it flashing on and off in gleamy, silvery Old English lettering that they all use now. Mondale! 20 feet tall in a big basketball arena, just swarming with all them zombie-like fans, all lighting their matches and shaking their fists at the band, just like those people Sieg-heiling Adolf Hitler in the Nazi propaganda films, with these 5 Walter Mondales all kicking ass on the stage, all in their blue business suits, wrapped in bullet belts, Viking helmets. Maybe the singer could have a flaming tie and a paste-on Frank Frazetta mustache. Mondale! He would have made a great heavy metal hero. You know, everybody sing along one time. Lane Kirkland rules me, yeah, yeah, yeah. Half the guys in Deep Purple look just like Walter Mondale now. Or how about one of those new age audio sedative packages with a mellow sunset on the cover? Or maybe a Roger Dean Fantasy pool painting or something with that swirly progressive rock lettering at the top, or that Wyndham Hill software typesetting. Either way, new age tranquility. Earth fart. Imagine all the images you could drill into people's minds if you called your band The Dentists. Or, ready? Electric Meat, Pink Meat, Anchovy Smegma, Food Beat, Black Lung, Conqueror Worm, My Sweet Slaughterhouse, Pets Eat Their Master. Or how about Hunk, Tits, Ass, and Money, Absentee Thought Lords, Criminal Spa, Peeping Tom Collins, Chocolate Fetus, The Marching Taboos, Tiger Lard, Clown Feast, The Janitors of Anarchy, Lost Orgasm, Root Canal, Video Sex Poke, Facelift in a Jar, Cancer Cures Everything, South Africa, John Wayne on Acid, Jehovah's Rifle Cream, Overkill for Breakfast, or the Ku Klux Flintstones, Uranium Playpen, Crushed Velvet Vivisection, Dracula Was Gay, Air guitar, the Manson Surfers, We're So Pure, Bank of Sodom, Motor Sheet, Velvet Volcano, the Screwworm Flies. This list could go on all night. So why be the 35th band in a row to call yourselves Bad Attitude, Dark Angel, or the LA Guns, when you could storm the globe as the Imperial Turdsickles, conquer MTV as Primer Gray Erection, or live at the Ritz, exclusive East Coast appearance Failure, or this summer, Madison Square Garden MSG. Tickets $20 in advance, $120 at the door. Fraud! And if you really want to get under people's skin and make them think, forget Dead Kennedys. That's already been done. Take a grainy photo of your friend and mine, Ronald McReagan, and use that for the front cover of the album. Title the record, Lest We Forget. Then nail 'em where it counts with the name of the band, Lest We Forget by 6 Million Jews.